Welcome to the Achieve Results Now podcast, the podcast that gives you immediate actions you can take to start seeing life-shifting results now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Achieve Results Now podcast. This is Mark Cardone.
And Theron Feidt.
So today, talking about obstacles, right?
Yes.
This is so important. We run into obstacles every single day.
Yes.
And knowing how to overcome them and how to not only overcome them, but overcome them quickly and effectively is one of those skill sets that just, as adults, children, like we all need. So this is a great episode.
Well, I think oftentimes when we hit an obstacle, we could think, oh, well, I guess that's not meant to be then because something's in my way. That's not a good thing to think,
Mm-hmm.
Then we're like, oh man, that's really tough. I don't know if I have the energy to do it. That's not good. I don't know if I just can't think of how to overcome this. That's not good. There's a lot of negativity with obstacles where really and this kind of bleeds into probably number one a little bit, but I do want to do a little setup it's really, what do you feel an obstacle is to you? To me, an obstacle is an opportunity. An obstacle is an opportunity to grow, to get better, to get stronger. I'm gonna again reference martial arts because that's the biggest thing that I know. If I want to get better at a combat, whether it's jiu-jitsu or it's standing, I'm not going to spar somebody that's less skilled than me. That's not going to give me enough resistance. I mean, I'll get a sweat in, but I need to work out with people that are better than me to push myself, to get myself better. That's
Mm-hmm.
an obstacle. Somebody that's better than you is a big obstacle, but that's the way to get better. And that's how you should be looking at obstacles, is an opportunity to grow and improve.
Yeah, and I think that mindset is really important when it comes to obstacles because, you think about yes, it's funny, yesterday I was at an appointment driving to the dojo and the way I had to go was closed, so obstacle,
So you just
right?
gave up and decided not to come, right?
Just gave up and decided not to do it. No, but and then you see those orange signs which say detour, right? And I think the mindset has to be, not, oh crap, I have to take a detour, but like, oh, this detour is going to show me a new way to get to the place I want to go, right? And we know that with the brain, right? That as we overcome obstacles, we're building new pathways in our brain and those detours in our brain to help us become better problem solvers. So obstacles are great because they're going to make you better, right?
Yes.
But you have to see them that way. And like you said, I think when you drive up to that sign, right, you have two options. Number one, you can crash through the barricade, which some people try to do, and sometimes they can get you there, but it's risky. You can take the detour and find another way around, which is probably the safest and easiest.
Sure.
Or you can just give up and turn around, right?
Right.
Which, unfortunately, a lot of people end up doing. I mean, how often have you seen, cars in a pile and then they turn around and go the other way? You just end up giving up and going home. And that's not a great way to live life. Giving up and going home when you run into an obstacle will not give you a fulfilling life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So let's get into number one, which we already touched on a little bit. But the first step is the preparation, mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to this. So we're going to go through a couple things. So the first one, preparing yourself mentally, is a lot what we started this with, is how do you look at obstacles? What's your gut reaction when you see an obstacle? Oh, this always happens to me. That's loser think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, and this means that I shouldn't do it. That again is loser think. Or do you like, this is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to get better. Do you get more dug in and like, I'm going to overcome this obstacle, or you feel defeated, turn around and go home, and it's training your brain to be able to look at that obstacle and figure out a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really just, how mentally strong are you? Like, do you have that mental fortitude to be able to see obstacles for what they are, which is just, another thing. Like, we know they're coming. We know, like, if we're doing anything worthwhile, we know they're coming. So are we, mentally strong? Go back to our last episode, listen to positive mental attitude, right? Like, do we have that positive mental attitude? And then are we physically ready? Like, are we physically ready for obstacles? Do we have energy? Because overcoming obstacles takes energy. If you're exhausted and worn out and, the small obstacle comes up, you're not leaping hurdles
Right.
when you're sleeping. You know
Right.
what I mean? So, I think just making sure you have that mental physical preparedness, like,
Hmm.
and that's why it's important to not wait until the obstacle comes up to build that. We want to have that kind of continuous mental and physical energy that we're building over time.
Well, it reminds me of a phrase that I learned Anthony Robbins long, long ago: pre-problems.
Hmm.
So which, and I'm sure he didn't make it up, but that was the first time I heard that term. And it really is thinking, okay, I have a goal. What are all the possible obstacles that could come up? So you're preparing
Yeah.
yourself ahead of time, that when it does come up, you're like, oh, I already knew it was going to happen. You're more prepared. Mentally, you're more prepared. But the other part of preparation is physical. You being a stronger person physically, eating right, sleeping enough, hydration, all of those things are going to create energy so you can crank through the whole day. That's going to also help you mentally and physically overcome those obstacles.
Yeah. I've been exhausted, hit an obstacle, and cried before, right? It it's a real, and that's all it was. I was just exhausted. So
Yeah,
I think you're right. Make sure you're getting enough rest, all those things. It's a little step, but it's really, really important
it
on
is.
the grand scheme of obstacles. But I think the second step, moving into the
Mm-hmm.
second step, so number one, prepare, but number two, I think this is a big one, and it's maximizing your goals and minimizing your obstacles,
Right.
making the goals bigger and more important, and making the obstacles, which I think you were talking about this a little bit, and this is important. Just making the obstacles what they are. Just
Yeah.
they're just a part of the journey.
Yeah. Exactly. And the way you maximize your goal, the best way is knowing your why. Why are you doing this? If your why is big enough, your motivation is going to come. If you're working on a goal because somebody else wants you to do it, when you run into an obstacle, you're probably going to stop because it's not a big enough why. You're doing it for somebody else. Not that that can't be motivating sometimes, but you really need to do it because you want it.
Yeah,
That it's something that, and you've thought of all the reasons why you want this goal. um the bigger the why, like I said, the bigger your goal is going to feel, and that's how you. So maybe the obstacle even stays the same size, but you make the goal bigger. That's fine. Sometimes it's difficult to minimize the obstacle, but we can definitely maximize the goal by having a
yeah.
stronger why.
And most people really, they're not very good at this, and
No, not at all.
and that's one of the benefits of coaching, and the benefits of
Yep.
talking to other people about your goals.
Hmm.
Like I'll talk to people who say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and I'll say, well, why do you want to lose 50 pounds? And they'll go, because I'm overweight. And I go, well,
Right.
what if you're overweight tomorrow? And they're like, meh, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
overweight tomorrow too.
Yeah.
There's no emotional juice right
Right.
behind the why. When you say, well, geez, are you having trouble keeping up with your children?
Yeah.
Are they playing by themselves in the yard? Would they
Right.
love to have, you can put emotion
Yep.
into your why. It
Hmm.
sucks. Like I tell people, it should suck a little bit. If you
Yeah.
don't have that kind of gut check when you give yourself your why, and it's not inspiring you,
Right.
it's not enough. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's where people, I think, get confused with, oh, I'm supposed to be positive. I need to have all these affirmations, which, yes, you do. But also, you need a little negativity push too. So
Hmm.
if I'm not healthy, not only will I not be able to play with my kids, but I might not be around next year or the year after.
Yeah.
Right. Then how am I going to feel? Well,
Right.
you're not going to feel anything, but your kids are going to feel it.
Yeah.
Um, but so I think it's important that as you're doing that, you're making your why, also use the negativity, because it's very powerful,
Hmm.
to your benefit.
Yeah.
Think of the worst case scenario that could happen if you don't achieve your goal.
Right.
That's a big push too. That's a big why that can help you. One of the books that I read a few months ago is Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And at first I was like, I don't understand that. And I was just talking to somebody about this last week too, that it's okay to use negativity to make yourself better. It's okay
Yeah.
to do that. I mean, you can do both as
Mhm.
long as it's helping you and helping others and the result is positive. Like if you want to prove yourself to somebody, that isn't necessarily negative, because if it's making you better and making everybody around you better, that's how you choose your enemies wisely. Somebody said something to you that really bothered you, like, hey, you're a little chubby, then all of a sudden you're getting yourself in great shape because of that person. Why is that negative? You're using that, enemy, and I use that in air quotes, to really motivate you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important to use both positive and negative.
100%. And then I'm minimizing obstacles. I think it's really just understanding, like, you're probably, this is a guess, right?
Yeah.
You're probably not the first one to hit this obstacle.
Right.
I mean, there's with every goal, there's a limited number of
Yeah.
obstacles, right? And like I always think about the road to black belt. Somebody's having, challenges doing push-ups, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not the first person to ever have a challenge doing push-ups. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that shows you that the obstacle has been overcome before by someone else. So that should minimize it a little bit and show you that you can do it, and that kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Look
Yep.
for, look for people who have done it, look for
Right.
books about people who have done it, and
Yep.
learn from other experiences. But it's very easy
For
to
sure.
minimize obstacles.
Yes. Yes. Yep. And then move into step three. So this one, I think, people don't do consistently, or they
No.
don't do it all. The other purpose behind the obstacle, and I think I mentioned this in the opening, is to improve your skill set. And so realizing that the obstacle is there to hone you, to make you better, to make you sharper, um, so you can cut through those obstacles like a knife. That improvement is the key to your success, because
Hmm.
in order to achieve your goal, you have to get better in some skill, or you would already have that goal most likely.
Yeah. This is, I always think this one's tougher, especially when you think of business owners. Like this is one of those things where you have to make the best use of your time and
Mm-hmm.
improve certain skill sets. But which some things you have to do yourself, right? Like I have
Yep.
to do this myself. The best use of my time, if I want to, improve my fitness, is to walk on my treadmill, go for a jog, lift some weights, right? Like, and I can't ask someone else, I can't delegate that, right? Like, I
Right.
can't call someone and be like, hey, can you go for a jog for me so I can lose 10
Right.
pounds? It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. But then on the other
Right.
side of that, I look at business owners, like if you're somebody who bakes great cookies and you're a master chef at cookies, but you're
I'm
not
not.
selling a lot of cookies, it may not be in your best interest to stop baking cookies and start learning how to sell,
Right.
right? It may be in your best interest to get a skill set of running a business and hiring
Right.
people to help you,
Right.
so really kind of dropping in and analyzing, hey, this is the best use of my time.
Right.
And then actually doing that and using it to improve and overcome those obstacles.
What your example reminds me of the E Myth. That's an old book
Yes. Yep.
back 30 years ago or whatever, and that's what it talked about. And so, but it's what's, and I love this question, and I try to make sure my instructors are asking this question more often, is what's the best use of my time, and the rest of it is right now,
Hmm.
because that can change. But
Yeah.
I think you can modify that to, when you're working on improving your skill, to overcome an obstacle. What's the best use of my time? And like we said, are you using your time to improve your skill, or are you just spinning your wheels? Are you complaining about the obstacle? Are you seeing if you can get other people on your side to say, yeah, that's not fair that you have that obstacle? Yeah, I agree. And are you having a little pity party, online or in person, with people that are going to agree with you to make you feel better about you being a loser and not achieving your goal?
That's proof in the wrong pudding.
How's that?
That's good. We don't want that at all. But
No,
but
we do not.
but it is a way people use their time, right? We use
Yeah.
our time justifying, our lack of progress,
Mm-hmm.
by talking to other people about it. And that's, like, look, does it make you feel better? Yes. Does it get you over your obstacle? Not even a little
No,
bit. It probably pulls you further away. So
it does.
yeah, I think that's, this is so important because, listen, there's going to be things where you say, I don't know how to overcome this obstacle, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to work on. I don't know what to
Right.
practice. And that's when you call people who know and you say, hey,
Yes.
can you help me with this, right? Can
Yeah.
you take me jogging 3 days a week? Can
Right.
you, make sure that I'm making my phone calls. Can you show me how to make phone calls? All those things, but just making sure
Mhm.
you're really using your time wisely
Right.
to improve those skill sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, let's review. So, defeating obstacles is what we're talking about. So, the first step is preparing yourself mentally and setting yourself saying, okay, that obstacle is there to help me and improve me, but also prepare yourself physically to make sure you have the energy to deal with that obstacle.
Absolutely. Number two, maximize your goal. So build that big, meaningful why, something that gets you in the gut a little bit. And then minimize your obstacles. So really understand obstacles are just something that happens. Other people have done it before, and learn how to, really overcome it.
And then step three is making sure you're improving your skill sets and you're working towards it. You are setting yourself up to whether you're asking people for help, whether you're just improving skills on your own, or you're doing a combination of whatever, but using your time wisely to improve your skills.
Absolutely. And that wraps up this episode of the Achieve Results Now podcast on defeating obstacles. We hope you found this helpful. Please share it with somebody who would enjoy it, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Hop over to our website at www.achieveresultsnow.com to get your free copy of our book, Ignite Results, 4 specific daily actions to help you achieve results now. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Achieve Results Now. Thanks for listening, commenting, and subscribing. Now get out there and achieve results now.